Hey everybody, welcome back to One Mic, and today I'm here to talk about Season 3, Episode 10, the Season 3 finale of Apple TV's Foundation, entitled The Darkness. And man, what a finale. A lot of moving parts there. We've got dead Cleons, robot paradoxes, fake mules, real mules, Earth and its moon. A lot going on, but let's just dive right in. We open with Dusk preparing for his ascension with attendants dressing him while he tears up. They've been teasing this ascension ritual all season, and I was hoping for something pretty epic and cool. But of course, Dusk lets me and his attendants down because he has other plans. Instead of walking toward having his nanites removed and Destiny, he slips away with clear, nefarious intent. Meanwhile, Day presents Demerzel with the brazen head. He's respectful now, having learned his lesson about mistreating robots, and he tells her how the people of Micah just see her as essentially like Neo from the Matrix. And Demerzel can't clasp with the brazen head, not because she doesn't want to, or because her programming it technically, literally forbids her from doing anything that could put Empire at risk, and clasping with the brazen head could free her. I thought this next part was clever. Dave finds a loophole by saying she's not really making a choice if they don't know for sure that it works. So he asks her to show him how to do it, shifting the choice from her to him while technically freeing her from making it. We're going to come back to that in a moment. Over with Gale, it's now go time. So she reiterates with Harry that she needs his help getting onto the Mule ship. And he's like, spoon time? Like, he didn't say that, but he's like, spoon time? And she's like, yeah. Now listen, that whole spoon conversation from episode 9 last week was one of the most confusing things. I don't even know if it was episode 9, but whatever it was one of those confusing things I've ever heard on this show. And now this week they're like, all right, time to get on the Mule ship. It's spoon time. And then the vault just flies up in the air to Mule's ship. And like, that confusing ass spoon shit wasn't even necessary. Like, out of all the wild shit to happen on this show or to have been said on this show, they felt like they needed a complex explanation for the vault just flying up into the air. Like, I would have just accepted that the vault could fly. Like, you don't need to explain that. Like, the fuck? But anyway, Gale and all the heroes, they get on Mule's ship while a bunch of his security mindlessly and stupidly fires round after round at a projection of Harry. But Gale and the team, they're going to head to Ember's office where the Mule supposedly is, and Pritchard is going to split off to go find Beta. Beta's with Dawn, and when she hears the alarm, she's ready to escape, but Dawn can't go because his legs are still fucked up. So Beta bails on him. Pritchard and Beta then run into each other, and when that happens, Pritchard's like, oh, the Mule is near, and he drops to his knees in pain. And of course, we're still sitting in this moment like, oh shit, it's about to pop off. He's getting a lot closer, not fully understanding what's going on. Meanwhile, the Mule, he's fucking amped to kill them. All he does is just sit there and watch them approach like, yeah, I'm ready. And Ebling Miss, easily the most useless and pointless character in this show's history. He can somehow tell in the dark after the Mule has cut the power that they are above the bathroom adjacent to Ember's office, which is where the Mule supposedly is. I'm just like, man, this guy. Anyway, Gale and the Mule, they end up battling in what should have been a climactic moment, only for it to really feel anticlimactic and confusing because, it wasn't in the Trantor library, and it ends very anticlimactically with Gale essentially faking out the Mule in their little mind battle and cutting his throat. And that's because it was a fake out. Turns out the Mule, the person that we know as the Mule was not the Mule. He also wasn't Magnifico, as I theorized earlier in the season. But it was Beta, but it was under the same logic. And it worked. She was always where Magnifico was. So everything that I said about why I thought that it might be Magnifico can still be applied to Beta, and everything still works. So it's fine. The reveal still works. It's not Magnifico. It's Beta. I'll admit I wasn't blown away by the reveal because I'd already kind of sort of guessed it. But it's fine. It was a cool reveal. I'm sure that if I hadn't guessed it, I would have been thoroughly satisfied with that. It was a good reveal. It was well executed. Like I said, I had just already kind of figured it out, at least to some degree. Back to Dusk, and this is where things go completely off the rails. Not for the show, for Dusk. He goes completely off the rails. He heads to where all the other Cleons, where they're being baked at, this little birthing center. And he doesn't I thought he was just going to kill his immediate replacements, but he wipes out every single Cleon clone in this birthing center. Birthing center, I would call it birthing chamber. And the bodies, it's like a tall building and they go up. So like the bodies start dropping in this grotesque splattering way with like limbs and torsos splattering on the ground. It was fucking sick. I love this moment. But the only one that he spares is a baby who he acknowledged earlier in the episode. And he takes it with him and you're like, okay, well, at least he's not going to kill the baby. Well, nope. He ends up laying the baby in the path of the ascension beam. Just as Demerzel and Day arrive, and Demerzel's programming dictates that she protect Empire, so she rushes to cover the baby when Dusk tries to kill it with the ascension beam. She sacrifices herself, but she's melting all over the child that she's tried to shield. So now she's killed both herself and the baby. But of course, she had no choice. It was just her programming, protect Empire. She did that, and it was still to Empire, or at least that baby's detriment. Watching Day realize all this is happening and watching it play out in horror, that was a really good standout moment as well. I really liked how her struggle between duty and desire finally culminated here, but I would have liked this arc to have ended with Demerzel maybe gaining some free will and using that to do something either heroic or completely awful. Like that would have been really cool to me, rather than it seems like she's just dead, and I'm fairly certain they're going to find a way to bring Demerzel back at some capacity for season 4, but that's still kind of an underwhelming ending to her arc. But again, I like the path that it took, the idea behind how the paradox influenced her decision making. Like I said, I just wish it had ended in a cooler way than just having her die. Meanwhile, Pritchard is under Beta's control, and she's about to take out Gale, but Magnifico's music is twisted against her, allowing Gale to escape by jumping out of the window like she's fucking Batman. She gets scooped out of the air by her ship, and Digital Harry is there asking to see Flesh Harry, who, again, he thinks is still alive, and he's super bummed out to learn that Flesh Harry has been dead. And honestly, man, everything involving Harry this season has been really subpar. I understand wanting to keep Jared Harris on the show, but his role becomes more and more complex and convoluted as he gets given less and less to do. Like, the show is strong as fuck on its own without Jared Harris. Anytime Harry showed up, it was almost kind of like, time for me to kind of like I almost check out, because there's going to be a whole bunch of fucking psychohistory shit that gets talked that has very little bearing, and it's just... it just seems like it's just there to be confusing, and it feels self-important. I'm over the Harry character at this point. If all he's gonna bring to the table is a whole bunch of fucking scientific terms, so like this is the kind of stuff he's been given to do. Just let it go. Just let him go. We don't need him anymore. The show's great without him. Anyway, Day and Dusk face off, with Dusk revealing just how far he's gone, including how he destroyed the planets of the Galactic Council. Day's beating the shit out of this guy, but it's really for no reason, because Dusk still has his nanites, and since Day no longer has his, since he gave him up in his little plan to escape, he's defenseless when Dusk shoots him. In the aftermath, Quint delivers a book Demerzel told her to get to the library. I'm assuming it's that ninth folding book or whatever, but the one that everybody's been asking about. And the librarian then takes her and introduces her to Preem Palver. So Demerzel basically just positioned Quint for the future by aligning her with the Second Foundation. Feels kind of like a failsafe, essentially. And finally, the setup for season 4, the Brazen Head is still where Day and Demerzel left it, and it comes to life and initiates a clasp that is accepted. We did see 2 figures discussing this turn of events, this class being accepted. They're like, Demerzel, we thought she couldn't clasp because it came from Trantor. And they're like, nope, not Demerzel. Maybe this is someone trying to get us involved in some sort of situation. Like, they're setting up a lot very vaguely here. And one of these individuals, they're both robots, by the way. I failed to mention that. One of these individuals appears to be Calais. She uses us and we when discussing what they're seeing. So it sounds to me like she's a robot. And then the other robot is actually a robot. It doesn't look like a person, but it sounds suspiciously like Lee Pace. Not saying that's how he ends up in season 4, but I'm not saying it either. But like I said, the implication here is that not just that there are more robots out there, but that Calais is a robot, that this clasp has set off some sort of chain of events that these two were anticipating in the first place anyway. And then the kicker, it looks like they're on Earth's moon. Huge setup for where the story is heading. I'm really excited for this show to have some scenes on Earth. I think that'd be really cool. So where do I land on the finale? Overall, I thought it was solid. I like the Demerzel paradox payoff quite a bit. The robot reveal and tying Earth into the story. I thought all that was really cool. Thus killing all the Cleons was shocking and gives season 4 some fertile ground, especially with Dawn still being alive out there, unbeknownst to everyone except us, the audience. So Dawn is still at play. The Mule's arc didn't live up to the hype for me. Feels like they just kind of like kicked that can down the road again to another season, and that this season was just meant to showcase just how powerful he is. Like the whole season was built up to that fake out to say like, hey, the Mule's controlling this other guy this whole time. That was what this season was meant to showcase. So again, we have not actually made much progress in the confrontation with the Mule. Everything with Harry continues to drag, and it's really starting to feel like they just want to keep Jared Harris on the show at this point. And I also wish they delivered on the Ascension ceremony. They built it up all season. I've been talking all season like, I'm looking forward to this thing, and it never happens. But again, thus alternative of killing everybody, it's an adequate replacement. So as for the season overall, probably the best one yet, but the back half, I don't think it sustained the heights of the first half. It's still in my top 10 shows. It's not going to be competing for that number 1 spot anymore. Probably going to still land in the top 5 somewhere, but that's all I got for this season. Another great season, or one of my favorite shows in the books. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Let me know what you thought about this season in the comments. Let me know what you thought about these twists, what it set up for season 4, all that stuff. Like the channel, subscribe, share to your social media, join the Discord, join the conversation. And until next season, peace.